In this town, there's no off-season. The news never stops, and neither do we. It's always game day in Cleveland with Andy Baskin and Daryl Ryder.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to It's Always Game Day in Cleveland. He's Daryl Ryder. I'm Andy Baskin. We are brought to you by Smiley One and Bryant, Northeast Ohio's premier heating and cooling solution. Daryl, big news. The 40th starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns since 1999. Drum roll, please. Bailey Zappe. Boom. How are we feeling about that, big boy?
Where's the confetti? I'm looking for kids. No confetti, no horns, no
There's dandruff. I'll try to put some dandruff out there.
Yeah, okay. No one needed to see that basket.
There was no dandruff coming out. I just
no one needed to see snow flying off your head.
Confetti, snow, it's all the same thing. Who gives a you know what?
Yeah. Great. Bailey's by the way, point spread went from 18 to 20.
Oh, good.
After the news broke that Bailey Zappe would be the starting quarterback for the Browns Saturday. And I think we're going to still see DTR. Basically, it feels like this is like a fourth preseason game for the Browns, right? Yeah. Winning, everyone's hoping they don't do it, right? So it doesn't matter. Right. And, you're going to see multiple quarterbacks in the game. Myles Garrett at least is going for the sack title this year. And we can talk a little bit about him and the season he's had here in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, as we record this on today is Thursday.
Yeah, right? All day. I think so. Let me check. Yep, all day.
Okay. Well, today is Thursday, but it was Friday for us out in Berea because they hop on a plane and
can we start here then? Outside of Bailey Zappe, why the hell did this game get moved to Saturday? And I mean, national TV audience. Well, at least we'll be the first team of the season over.
Yeah. A couple of things.
No, that's not true. That's not true either. Never mind.
They've got the Steelers and Bengals playing this season finale. So basically, Saturday's the AFC North. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe they did a little bit for Hard Knocks to give them a couple extra days to sew up the series.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if anyone has been watching recent episodes.
I haven't seen it in a while. I saw it 2 weeks ago.
Here's how irrelevant the Cleveland Browns are. Mm-hmm. They showed like 20 seconds of them opening Christmas presents. And then the rest of the entire Hard Knocks episode was all about the Ravens, the Steelers, and the Bengals.
And it should be. It should be.
Yeah. The Browns are just like completely irrelevant. They totally blew over Myles Garrett's comments and that big story that's brewing. Ignored that. And again, I get it because it is more, the Bengals can still make the playoffs here going into week 18. The Ravens are in, Steelers are in. The only thing that has to be decided and will be the Baltimore Ravens will win yet another AFC North title once they put the boots to the Browns and kick Cleveland into the by and by that is the NFL offseason on Saturday. So thankfully, the Browns are the first game of the weekend, and the season mercifully comes to an end for them first. And then Sunday morning, we will head out to Berea for locker cleanout day. And then early next week, we'll hear from Andrew Berry.
Where do we go next? There was a lot of stuff going on over the week. I want to dive back in it. So why Bailey Zappe again? I want to go back to that. Why Bailey Zappe? Does it matter?
First of all, yeah, it does not matter.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, because DTR was just not very good. Fumble. 3-4 interceptions over the last couple of weeks. Poor completion percentage. Only threw for like 330 yards over 2 games. It's just not good. And I care so much, I just didn't even bother to add up his stats because I just don't care. He sucks. He's not an NFL quarterback. And again, as we've talked about in the past, Andy, I don't blame him. I blame the people that hired him and then put him on the field. So there's that, and you give Bailey a look. Why not? And then too, let's get this quarterback milestone out of the way, right? Let's just get the 40th guy. Let's not go into the next season with it hanging over the head, right?
Yeah, maybe we get to 50 next year.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, a couple more years. But like, let's let's start.
I fully believe they can go through 10 quarterbacks this year.
Now, well, the most they've gone through in a season is 6. So let's be fair. This is now only the 3rd time since.
If you're going to break a record, bust down the wall and have drywall flying everywhere. That's what I say.
But yeah, I just just let's see what you get. It was funny listening to him on Wednesday, which was New Year's Day, talking to us about because I asked him, hey, how do you get ready for a week when you don't know if you're going to play, you don't know if you're going to start, the situation. He goes, I played for Bill Belichick for a few years. I never knew when I was going to start. He never would tell me until the last possible month. I'm used to this. And then Kevin Stefanski, I guess, told the guys Friday afternoon. By the way, want to give a shout out to Tom Withers, who is retiring from the Associated Press after 26 years. Kevin Stefanski graciously presented him with a number 26 Cleveland Browns jersey, which was
that's awesome.
And then also too, they let him break the Bailey Zappe news to everyone. So I thought that was a nice gesture that the Browns did.
He'll be back freelancing next week, but that's all right. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just for anybody that cares, can we just say this, that Tom Withers is probably the best, most ethical, caring about his story writing journalist in town. And I'm not ripping other guys. I just know, and I said it for years, and it was just on a whim the first time he joined us on the air. Because Jeff and I looked at each other on the air and we were like, oh, we got Withers coming up. I was like, man, that sometimes the AP doesn't have the story first, but they always have it right.
Yep.
And especially in Cleveland, Tom Withers always gets it right. And so I kind of dubbed him, it's not news until Tom Withers says so. And I very much believe in that when I say that all the time too. So congratulations, Tom, on just not only being a great journalist, but for being ethical and for caring about the words that you put to the computer screen or to print or wherever you were throughout your career. And I'm sure we'll be seeing you around writing for other periodicals throughout the day. So, right? Fair?
Yeah, absolutely. We've not seen or heard the last of him, but just wanted to pay tribute. He was always good to me when I first got in the business, similar to you. When I first popped up into Cleveland, he was, one of the first people to talk to me and show me some kindness, which is not always prevalent in this business.
It's true.
And
there are a lot of jerks in our business. Let's not kid ourselves. I mean, it's not, there are people that are jerks and they wear your nerves and then you walk away from them after a while. Sometimes you find out some of the people that were jerks in the beginning, deep down, they're really good people. And sometimes that happens too, but it's just like any other business, right? Every business has its ups and downs and its idiots and it's people are full of class. And Tom Withers, 100% first class. Like that's the best way to describe it.
No, with all due respect to all of our colleagues, but like you said, Tom is very old school. And when I say old school, I mean that as a compliment in his approach to the job. What
you mean understanding there's always two sides to a story? Yeah. That's old school though. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Those were like journalism ethics 101. Two source reporting. Yeah. I mean, Tom does it. That's why, again, if Tom's name's on it, it's real. Yeah. It's always real.
100%. So appreciate everything he's done for me over the years and his friendship. And I'm sure I'll be bumping into him at press conferences and scrums and locker rooms again soon. But I thought that was a nice gesture by Kevin Stefanski and the Browns to acknowledge his contributions to the local media landscape and the endless hard work. It's really hard. Think about this. Tom covered all 3 teams in town too.
Yes.
It wasn't just he was, I mean, there were days he would
run the Olympics and sometimes Ohio State. I mean, he was, I love talking about the Olympics because I think he really enjoyed doing that.
Yeah. He loved going to the Olympics. And then also too, just his musical knowledge. He's a big music buff.
Oh yeah.
And he, the stories he can tell about band. You just mentioned a band and he'll just regale you with stories for like 5 minutes about that band, their origins and tours and albums and songs and meanings behind songs and stuff like that. He's a great person. So like I said, I just wanted to pause for a second and recognize Tom in his contributions because again, it's hard. There are days where he would write multiple stories about all three teams all in the same day. Cavs, Browns, Indians / Guardians. And I don't know how he did it, but he did. And he always, knew the right words to put electronically. You know what I mean? Like
I always enjoyed like when I would go on the road and you'd see the AP headline and you'd see Tom Withers as the byline on it, and you'd be anywhere in the country and you'd be like, "Oh, look at that!
Yep,
that's really cool." The Tom does
so
that.
Congratulations, Tom, on a wonderful career, and again, really appreciate your contributions to the local media landscape, both personally as well as professionally. And we were able to pay tribute to Tom, and at the same time avoid talking about this season finale for a few minutes.
Good job, Daryl. Good job. All right, we're back in a minute here. I want to talk about the Dome too. So we'll talk about the final game against Baltimore, and of course, we're going to talk about all this Dome news that kind of came out and Deshaun's contract. Did we ever talk about that? I don't know if we did. We'll talk about it when we come back. I just almost said Baskin and Phelps. I'm just letting you know that, Daryl. It's always game day in Cleveland. Stop. Put your head back up. You're good. It's always game day in Cleveland. It's always game day in Cleveland. Brought to you by Smiley One and Bryant, Northeast Ohio's premier heating and cooling solution. He's Daryl Ryder. I'm Andy Baskin. Daryl, is it rude if I eat my dinner while we're doing this podcast or not?
At this point, I have reached the I don't give a crap portion of the schedule. So knock yourself out.
I would like to thank my daughter for bringing me dinner tonight. Thank you very much. Excellent job out of her part. All right, Daryl, let's talk about the Pro Bowlers here for a moment. So as you said to me, I don't think you said to me before the show, the Browns ended up with as many Pro Bowlers as they did wins. That's scary.
They did. And if you count the alternates, it's 3 times the amount of Pro Bowlers than wins. So Myles Garrett, Jerry Jeudy, Denzel Ward, named to the Pro Bowl or Pro Bowl games or whatever the bleep they're doing this year. Garrett and Jeudy voted as starters. That's kind of a big deal for those 3 guys. The alternates, and this is where I got to kind of take some issue. As much as it's great that the Browns have 6 alternates, there are a couple of guys because of injury that I just don't know how. I kind of feel like these alternate nominations are gifts, but
I thought so too.
Joel Bitonio, I get Joel Bitonio, perfect. Yeah. Corey Bojorquez, or as you call him,
Bjorquez.
He is an alternate. David Njoku, Pro Bowler last year, alternate this year.
Mm-hmm.
Wyatt Teller, again, get it, but then JOK, like he missed half the season. So
did someone else.
And Nick Chubb. And also Nick Chubb like averaged 2 yards in a cloud of dust, it felt like. His longest run was 19 yards. So I kind of feel like that the JOK and the Nick Chubb were favors. Like, and again, I'm not trying to demean them being recognized, but like I think this is part of the reason why either they're really super short on running backs in the AFC, and super short on linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
I would have left JOK and Chubb out. And the other thing too,
Chubb, I just kind of didn't understand the whole Chubb thing there, but it's okay.
And the other thing too, this is a 3-win team.
Yeah. How
do you have 9 guys?
Corey deserved to be on that, though. I really thought so. When you look at the number of punts he took compared to everybody else, Corey, if the first guy, he should be the first guy added, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, if the punter's not available to participate or whatever. It was funny. Myles Garrett joked that he, this is how much I paid attention to the Pro Bowl games. I don't even know what they're doing this year. Right. They're doing stuff over multiple days, and it's stuff, and it's going to end with some flag football game or something. But if there is an obstacle course of any kind, Myles Garrett will not be participating. Remember, he broke the toe the last time, so he will not be doing the obstacle course stuff. But let me ask you this: in between eating taters over there.
Yes. Wait a second. I want to play. Can I play a game with you really quick?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay. Hand me one of your French fries. This is my daughter's gonna hit it. I want you to tell me where it's from.
I already know where your stuff's from.
Okay. Where is this from, though?
Oh, okay. I was gonna say you got your stuff from Swenson's.
No, I'm not Swenson's. Okay, where is this from?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna give that back to her. And then where is this from?
Just eat it. Why would you give it back to her?
Because it's hers.
See, that's why I thought it was Swenson's, because you had
no. This is easy. Who is this?
Yeah, I drawing a blank. I don't.
Evan, are you watching? Evan,
I don't
can you
eat
guess?
fast food. I don't eat fast.
Oh,
food.
all right.
Yeah. So you'll have
Evan,
to.
are you online? I bet Evan gets it.
Chick-fil-A. That's an easy.
That is correct. That is correct. Now,
all you had to say is they're not open on Sundays because everybody's
no.
at church.
I wouldn't.
Pretending to be at church.
Maybe they should rename themselves the Cleveland Browns because they're not open on Sunday either.
Wow.
Where is? Okay, so let me show the other one.
By the way, we're giving free advertising right now.
That's all right. What's the difference?
I hope their ad agency is watching this.
Okay. Now, can you figure out where this is from? Might be tough because he is in. Are you in New York or New Jersey? Where are you at?
Yeah, I'm in New Jersey. That looks very familiar to like the fries I get when I'm at the beach, but I honestly don't
It is
know.
close to a beach fry. I will show you. You may not know this. I will. Can you hand me one of the other things that's in there, and I'll just show that. If you can tell by this, then you'll get it right. Where is this from?
Arthur Treacher's?
No. Wow.
Looks like fish to me.
very Ohio State. Okay, I'll add one more thing in there, and that'll let you know where it's from.
Oh, the chicken place.
Yep. You're almost there.
Canes, Raising Canes.
Raising Canes. You got it. Okay.
There you go.
What a great. Next week we'll do this with burgers.
I have not eaten fast food in forever.
Yeah.
So I am completely oblivious.
All right, let's go back to the Pro Bowl. Again, if anyone's listening, they're like, "What are they doing? They're idiots."
Yeah, that's pretty much what we were going.
Thank you, Evan. Excellent job, though. Excellent job. Okay, keep going, Daryl. So
Baskin's going to send you some Raising Canes and Chick-fil-A now.
I'll send you both. blind taste test.
So whatever. Basically, they got 9 guys recognized here, and I wanted to ask you.
Yes, you were
they
going to ask
have
this.
9 players recognized in some form or fashion for the Pro Bowl here.
Yes.
How much of an indictment is that of Stefanski and his coaching staff?
It's because you don't have a quarterback. Boom. End of story. And it's injury related. I'm going to tell you, that's why you have these guys. That's why you have so many guys that are listed as upper echelon players. And they were nice enough to recognize guys that were upper echelon players before and after injury.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then it tells me once again, you don't have a quarterback. So,
okay. So,
how about you? What do you think of that?
I pretty much agree with that. Like it stares you in the face. It's the problem. I started to read the ESPN piece, the what went wrong this year piece, and just some of the stuff that's in there. I just shake my head. There was a note in there. I guess there were members of the Browns offense that did not know that they were changing play callers, and the way they learned was through social media and what Kevin Stefanski announced at his press conference. They, for some ungodly reason, I guess, still believe in Deshaun Watson. They had some unnamed sources I don't think were affiliated with the Browns, but just kind of speaking on the situation and talking about how he needs a checkup from the neck up type thing to get back to, I don't know, resembling something like a quarterback.
Right.
But it's just been one of those years that you want to just forget happened, right?
Amen. Totally agree with that.
It's such a waste of everybody's time. So thanks to the Browns for that. Thank you for wasting everybody's time this year. Thank you for wasting another prime year of Myles Garrett's career. Thank you for wasting Nick Chubb's hard work coming back from that knee injury. Thank you for wasting what could be the final year of Joel Bitonio's career if he decides to retire. Thanks for wasting everyone's time. Thanks for nothing, guys.
Thanks for nothing, Noonan.
Yeah.
Thanks for nothing. Caddyshack 2 coming out. See the promo for that? I'm sorry. Happy Gilmore 2.
Happy Gilmore 2. Yeah. Caddyshack 2 already came out in the 80s and it was horrible.
You know what? I think it was underrated. If Caddyshack 1 didn't exist,
Caddyshack 1 will They're just some things like, okay, so when the whole staff when the whole cast gets drunk and high for like 3 months on a time, and they just basically make up the script as they go along, which is the alleged legend of the guys starred in the movie talked about. Why on earth would you try and do that a second time?
So you do know that the golf club, some of the origin stories of that golf club come from Northeast Ohio.
I did not know that. I knew it's a real golf club. I know they actually
so they filmed that in Florida, but Doug Kinney, who wrote it and produced it, was a Northeast Ohio guy.
Yeah, but I don't know that Doug actually wrote it because no one followed the script. Like the whole movie was ad-libbed.
The movie wasn't supposed to be the way it turned out to be. It was more about a lot of the original. Some of the stuff that I read and heard was that Brian Doyle Murray's character was supposed to be one of the main characters in that whole thing. It was about the Caddyshack itself.
Dangerfield was like brilliant. And by the way, this tells you how much we don't want to talk about the Cleveland Browns right now.
Oh, I know.
We have talked about Andy Baskin's dinner. We have played Guess the Food.
Yep.
And now we're talking about the origins of Caddyshack. That is where we're at. The one thing I do know about that movie, they actually did blow up a golf course.
Yes.
That actually did happen. That was not CGI. That was not special effects. They legit blew up a damn golf course. And you know what? I salute them for that.
I do too. Bravo. Especially that they were able to do it during the caddy time at swim time.
Meet me on the ninth green at 9 there, Baskin. All
right, let's do this. We'll come back in one more second. We won't talk about that. I want to know what's going on with the Dome because you've been all over it. There's been more. There was another story that broke today about the Dome that this thing is moving forward fast. It's always game day in Cleveland. It's always game day in Cleveland, brought to you by Smiley One and Bryant, Northeast Ohio's premier heating and cooling solution. All right, Daryl, the Browns said today that they purchased the rest of the land or the option to purchase the land for the Dome. What is that? Am I right? And is that what does that mean?
Yeah, they've secured the land.
Okay.
So they had until December 31st to exercise the option.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, in early 2024, they paid $20 million for an exclusive purchase option on that 176 acres of land. They exercised that option on Friday. They wrote another sizable check to the developer. I can tell you it has not been paid for in full. There are a couple of more installment payments that still need to be made. So from a very specific and technical perspective, they don't own the land yet. They will own the land. It is okay. They're going to own it. They've exercised the option to buy it. They basically have begun the process of purchasing the land. You know, and also too, as part of this purchase agreement, included in the purchase price is the credit for that $20 million payment that they have already made.
Gotcha.
So I have an idea of what the Browns paid for that land. I will say this. I think there's a real possibility the Browns have already invested north of $80 million in this Dome project, from land acquisition to
planning,
architecture, the stadium study, the site studies that they have previously done in years past, economic impact studies they've done, transportation studies that they have had done. So, and again, that's just my figure that I'm pulling out of thin air. But it wouldn't shock me right now if they don't already have about $80 million already invested and committed to this project, and that's not small change. So,
okay, if it was 100 steps to getting a shovel in the ground to getting that thing built, how many steps in are we?
I would say you're maybe 10.
Oh, you're only 10. We're only 10 steps in.
Well, here's why. They have to close on the land, right? You have to finish making the rest of the payments, okay, to purchase it. You need to get your funding in place and in the public portion of the funding. And it feels like we are just miles away from that happening right now because of what transpired earlier this week with the mayor of the city of Cleveland and the demand letter he submitted. The fact that nobody is on the same page here, so it complicates what the state can contribute right now or is willing to contribute.
Sure.
You have the legal action that we're waiting on. We're waiting on legal ruling from U.S. District Court. The Browns, remember, sued to basically have the Modell law ruled unconstitutional and basically thrown aside so that they can go ahead and move to Brook Park and build this this dome. So waiting on that. There's just so many things that have to take place, but the fact that they have now actually secured the land. But I will say this though. Remember, the Chicago Bears spent all that money for
the racetrack.
The racetrack, and nothing really materialized. They went ahead and decided, okay, we're going to try and build the dome next to Soldier Field in downtown Chicago by that lakefront.
Right.
But this is the problem, though, that I think the mayor of Cleveland has created it for himself. He has now made this so contentious and confrontational, and the animosity and bad blood that now exists because of his actions and how he has proceeded and handled this situation. I don't think the Haslams really want to deal with him anymore.
I don't blame him.
Why? And why would you, right? You tell him in early September, this is what we'd like to do. We're going to pursue Brook Park. First thing he does is says to them, well, I want money. I want money for demo. I want money for the lakefront development. I want money for small businesses, support that are going to be impacted and all that kind of stuff. And then, oh yeah, by the way, can you guys just keep quiet? I got like tens of millions of dollars in potential federal funding that could be coming. So I need you not to announce this until that happens. Brown's like, absolutely. We support the city of Cleveland. We're not abandoning the city of Cleveland. Yes, absolutely. And then once that funding got announced, the Browns like, okay, we can move forward with our announcement. The mayor found out what date the announcement was going to be made. So the day before it, he gets out in front of cameras and microphones, craps all over the announcement, and then says, now we're going to take you to court and try and prevent you from doing this project and invoke this Modell law. But we're going to do it at our convenience. We're not going to do it immediately because the mayor's goal is to jam up this timeline that the Browns have in place to your point, get shovels in the ground by a certain date, begin getting that pit dug, because they got to dig out 80 feet into the ground for a massive facility, right? That's not going to be a small feat. And then, then you begin the actual construction in the pit and, building your way up, past street level there. So, and the Browns said, we're not going to allow you to do that. If you want to challenge the Modell law, we agree with you. Let's go ahead and get this thing clarified.
Right. How soon do you think we're going to hear on that?
I don't know. The federal courts work a little different than the municipal courts from a timeline perspective. And I know the city requested a little bit of an extension because they hired a local law firm to represent them. And that law firm needed some time to, I guess, prepare their case or something like that. So they asked something like for a 30-day something or other.
Stay or something.
Whatever. I don't know what the legal term is. I'm not a lawyer. All I know is I read the law. It's very vague. And I just think that the mayor jumped the gun by sending a demand letter saying that not only are we going to invoke the law, but I am going to, as under the law, one of the remedies is to force you to sell the team. And now I'm going to lead the charge to make that happen. I mean, you want to talk about a complete D move to make. That's it. So I think that Bibb has kind of jumped the gun here a little bit.
Where do you think he's getting his advice from? Or is he just doing this on his own?
Yeah. I'll just say this. The stuff that I've heard about Mayor Bibb as a mayor has not been very complimentary as far as like his ability to actually do the job that's required for the city of Cleveland. There are not a lot of people in the political spheres that are impressed, I'll say, with the job that he has done. And I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. But
so where are we big picture on this thing then?
It's another step forward. I think that ultimately, Andy, there's going to be a settlement reached. I think the Browns are going to end up cutting a check to the city of Cleveland, and then that will get the city of Cleveland to leave them alone. And then once that happens, then I think the county comes on board, and then everything can really come together.
Yeah, the county has been very quiet since they figured out that Brook Park is actually in Cuyahoga County.
Yeah.
I haven't heard a word from them in months. Have we?
Well, there's been some, Chris Ronayne has taken some shots on social media about the project and stuff like that. But look, and here's the thing, like, I get it. Like, $1.2 billion in public money, which is going to be a third of the cost of the total project, dome development, infrastructure, all that. it should be debated. We should have conversations.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all either. But
you need to do it in a good faith effort, is my point. And
yeah, so let me ask,
not through political stunts. And that's what we've gotten since this.
can the Haslam's pull this off without money?
Can they?
Yeah.
Sure. Will they? Probably not. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense.
And look, I keep getting accused of being a shill for the Browns and the Haslams. Listen, that the last person in that room that covers the team that the Haslams would ever accuse being a shill for them is me. Okay. Like, I'm not, but I feel that this project is important enough and that they should do it. Like, I think we should think big as a region and go after Final Fours and go after a Super Bowl and go after college football playoffs and bowl games and big name concerts and, compete with Detroit and Indianapolis and Minneapolis and all these and soon to be Nashville when they get their dome built, which is currently under construction and going to open, I think, in 2026. Like, to have this region be able to compete with those cities for big events. And the other thing too, Andy, we have the infrastructure here. We have guys like David Gilbert, the Greater Cleveland Sports Commission, Destination Cleveland, who just 24/7, 365 lobby on behalf of the city of Cleveland and Northeast Ohio why this is the perfect location to hold your jewel events, right? Mm-hmm. So when you have that type of infrastructure, if they're the things that they've been able to do with what is here now, imagine if you throw in a 67,000 seat dome to that, right?
Right. No, I'm with you.
We should have an honest debate about the taxpayer contribution and the figures the Browns have put out saying that it's $1.2 billion in economic impact. Yeah, I think we should critically look at that claim and verify that. We should look at, okay, the taxes generated by the complex, parking tax, sales tax, admissions tax, employment tax, right? Is that going to cover the nut on the bonds for the city of Brook Park, the county of Cuyahoga, and the state of Ohio? I don't know, right? I don't know if the Browns maths, if you will. And we should have that debate. We should have those conversations. But you can't have these honest conversations when the mayor is being belligerent and sending these demand letters off unhinged with artificial deadlines attached to them and being completely confrontational when you have county officials that won't even return phone calls, let alone have meetings with the Cleveland Browns. So how can that's I guess like my frustration when I look at this story is that yes, there are questions, honest to goodness questions that politicians representing the taxpayer should absolutely ask of the Cleveland Browns. 100%. But at the same time, when you're doing nothing but political stunts in front of cameras, microphones, and puking it up through email and on social media, it's not accomplishing anything. And I do feel like a lot of it's strategic. One, there's a mayoral race this year for the city of Cleveland. Two, I think some folks have some political bigger aspirations potentially. And, number three, it is, showmanship, gamesmanship, whatever. And the Modell law, like, okay, that it is a legit thing. I don't feel like this falls outside of the spirit of that law. For me, the spirit of the law was the team couldn't leave the market. You have to keep the team in the market, and the stadium is going to be paid off in 2028. The lease will expire at the end of the 2028 season. You're free. You should be free and clear. Like, I don't know how you can force a business to stay in the building, even if it was originally built and maintained by taxpayers. Once that money's paid off and the lease expires, I don't understand where that binding agreement is, right?
Right. No, I get you. So it's like renting an apartment and the lease runs out.
Right.
And you want to move into a house.
Right.
Like, that's the way it seems to me. Now, I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah. So again, there are tangible questions that should be asked of the Browns as far as their plans and their dollar figures and what they believe as far as tax revenue projection and paying back. And is the tax pool going to be big enough? Because we see what is happening to Gateway, right? There's shortfalls there.
Right.
It's very close to being insolvent. So there are legit questions to be asked, but you can't ask them when all you're doing is political grandstanding.
Fair enough.
Part of the reason they're doing the political grandstanding is they're trying to throw a monkey wrench into a $3.5 billion with a B construction project in this county that's going to join a $2+ billion airport makeover and a $3.5 billion riverfront expansion and makeover and development. Plus, however, hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, are going to get spent on the lakefront to retool that and revamp that and develop that. Like, this is all, for me, it's all positive stuff. But stop the political grandstanding stupidity and get in the room with the Haslams and team officials and have honest discussions about the taxpayer commitments and what's going to be required. That's my whole stance on this thing. So I think the project is good for Northeast Ohio ultimately, absolutely. But are there legitimate questions that should be asked by politicians to protect taxpayers? Absolutely. But like, nothing gets accomplished when you're sending these demand letters saying that we're not only invoking the law, but under the remedies within this law, we're going to try and force you to sell the team. And I, Mayor Bibb, am going to lead that charge. Like, that just does not accomplish anything.
All right. He's Daryl Ryder for our producer, Evan O'Brien. Thanks for listening and watching on YouTube. We want to thank our sponsors, Smiley One and Bryant, Northeast Ohio's premier heating and cooling solution. We will be back after Saturday's game for our final post-game pod as soon as things are done right there. So it's always game day in Cleveland.